Hi, I'm Teresa Harding. Today is mission 4 of week 3. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is we are going to make sure that you know the options you have to fix the placements mistakes that we talked about yesterday. That's why it's so important to launch or relaunch your business the way that we're showing you right now, because guess what? It gives you a new builder. Almost every single one of you who has done this the way I taught you, if you didn't skip days, you didn't cheat, you did all the assignments, you are going to have at least one builder by the time that we're done. All right, this is an amazing process so that you can, anytime you need a builder, you know exactly what to do to go find that builder. Now, we want you to have that builder so you have someone to put in a qualifier position. You might not need a qualifier position for you. You might need one for you, but you might need one for one of your leaders. You might be helping your leader to build, and that leader is helping you get to the next rank. But between all the people you've sampled, all the invites you've made, and all the people you've been working with, the classes that you've been having this week, you now have some people to choose from for one of those qualifying positions. And that buys you time, because now you can be building this one person, this one qualifying leg, help them. You don't build for them, you help them build while you're looking for another builder. The hard part is when you start this brand new and you don't have any builders. Now you've got a builder, so you can be anything you enroll, anything they enroll, of course, goes under that team. You're building up that team while you do this again and look for another builder. And you, of course, can go at whatever pace you want. And guess what? You're not just teaching the 4 classes that you're having this week. Yes, you had 4 classes. We started with a bang and you started strong, but you're now getting classes off of classes because of the way you're running the classes. So now it's likely you'll have even more people to choose from for that qualifying position. So before your 14 days are up, from the day you enrolled the very first person, like we talked about yesterday, until 14 days from that time, you now can choose from anyone who enrolls in those 14 days. You can decide between them to choose the best possible option for your qualifying position. Now, don't let it go longer than 14 days. When I'm working with someone personally, I tell them to count on 10 to 12 days just so we don't miss the deadline. And then if you've got somebody else enrolling that you think might be good, then of course, really go as quick as you can, do your best to accomplish that in time. But I would not make the changes on the 14th day if the person on day 1 is the one you're wanting to move in your qualifying position, because you don't want to miss the deadline, okay? So it's awesome. It gives you choices. It gives you options. Now, you guys are having ups and downs in your classes. Guess how I know? Because you're having classes. Because you're building doTERRA. That is building doTERRA. All of you are having ups and downs. If you're breathing and you're doing this, you are having ups and downs. I know this. That's why we're celebrating failures, trying to get you out of your comfort zone. Remember, this is building doTERRA. The experiences you've had in the last 2 weeks and this week with doing your classes, the ups and downs, that is exactly what Presidential Diamonds have been through. If you just don't stop, keep going, you'll get more belief. You might be thinking, I don't know if I can handle this forever because, wow, this is really hard to face. It's hard to deal with this. Well, guess what? Those kinds of failures aren't even hard for me anymore. At first, were they? Yes. It was frustrating. Sometimes I felt devastated. Sometimes I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm so dumb. I sound so dumb when I do this, or I made this big mistake. Well, guess what? Now, when I make a big mistake, it's funny to me. To me, it's just the next step toward whatever next goal I'm reaching. So it doesn't affect me the same because my comfort zone is different. So realize that what's hard for you right now, even though this is building doTERRA, that's not what's going to be hard for you as you move forward. This stuff is going to feel easy and you're going to get better at it. Okay? So, and we're going to talk about the fixes and the fixes that you can use from best choice to worst choice. I'm going to show you what all of those are. We have several of them. And remember, this is not a comprehensive training on fixes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on the whiteboard or on paper so that I can show you, because some of it I have to draw out. And we're just going to go briefly through each of these. And at least then you'll know that you have these options, okay? So tomorrow we're going to talk more about the exceptions committee and how to work with the exceptions if you're trying to make these fixes, okay? So let me get to my paper. So here we go. Let's go through the fixes, best to worst. At least now you know you have options. Okay, so fix number 1 is to start a new leg. Now, a lot of you might be afraid when you see that, but really and truly, it causes fear only because of one thing. If you don't feel like you know how to recruit. And by the time you're done with this challenge, I am telling you that fear of yours will at least lessen because you already realize, wow, now I know how to find people. Now I know how to recruit. And it truly, truly is the easiest to start a new leg because in order to build someone to silver, all you need is 3 elites. And that sounds scary. Silver sounds big, and it is. It's hard work. But if you know how to build someone to elite in 6 weeks, or a total of 8, if you count the 2 weeks that we started at the beginning, we did 2 weeks of prep where we were sampling people. Then you do your launch week. And after that, we show you the different things that you do for the next several weeks. And by the time you're done, you've created an elite. So basically in 8 weeks, you've created an elite. So if you can you can do 3 legs at the same time. Here's you. You're not just building 1 leg to elite at the same time. You can be building 3 if you have found committed and capables. If you didn't find good qualifiers, just stay with the 1 leg, keep building that until you find another qualified leader that is going to be good to put on your next level, or sorry, in your next open spot on your front line. And so what happens is if you can truly do that, then the beauty of it is you can do an elite in 8 weeks. If you find 3 builders, that means you're building them all at the same time. If you could build to silver in 8 weeks, and some of you are going, no, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. That's not possible. Well, guess what? People are doing it all the time. There are a lot of people who don't do it, but I'm telling you, it's a numbers game. It's just how much time you put into it, how many people you invite, how many people you sample. That's all it's about. So the truth is you can always start a new leg. Start a new leg is the best option because guess what? You have total choices. You can choose whatever you're doing about starting a new leg. It's all up to you. And all you need to be able to do is find a new builder and enroll people in doTERRA. And this challenge has taught you that you can. Fix number 2 is if you do a transfer. The reason this is not the top choice is because starting a new leg is actually easier than any of these. The rest of these fixes that I'm going to show you can really hurt relationships if you're not very, very careful. And in fact, even if you are careful, it will hurt relationships. A transfer is when, if this is you, and many of you aren't going to be needing to worry about this right now, but we have a lot of people in the challenge who have existing teams. So if this is you, and you have somebody right here, let's say you've got a couple of legs and you've been building, this person is doing great, and this person has some people because you guys had classes together and there's some people under here and it looks like this, but this person doesn't want to do anything. So this person doesn't want to work, okay? So you've got some existing stuff going on here. Let's say that this team has actually reached $1,200 in volume. And you'd rather not waste that volume. You'd like to be able to keep building under this team, but remember the rule, don't build for other people. You don't want to be building for other people because when you do that, you're creating an entitled attitude, you're sucking your time freedom, and you won't believe what happens as time goes on. It's not worth it. So how do you then keep this 1,200 points of volume while not having to do all the work for this person? Well, you can do a transfer. What that means is let's say you find a builder. Let's say you found a good qualifier during this challenge that we've been doing. You've tested them and they're looking really great. They look like a good qualifier. Well, guess what? You have to get permission from this person. Then you can transfer this person in. And you have to work with the exceptions committee. So they can transfer into that spot. So if this is Sarah, Sarah has to agree to it. Sarah's now out. Jim is in, and now Jim takes over that team. But you can imagine some of the issues that you'll have if you do this. It can be a beautiful thing, but it's really actually pretty hard because who do these people know? Not Jim. They know you. Who do you think they're going to come to? You have to be very, very good at transitioning Jim into that position, helping them create relationships with Jim, maybe do 3-way phone calls, really incorporate Jim into everything you're doing with them until they start to trust Jim. So the other thing is, if you have this conversation with Sarah and say, hey, I'd like to move you out of that spot, guess what? It can be really hurtful. It can really be sad for Sarah. Sometimes it really hurts relationships. And Sarah feels really offended because you asked. And you think, well, what's the big deal? You're not building, then I should be able to ask. Well, guess what? Relationships are always more important than the business. That's number 2. The third fix is an enrollership change. So you know how at the beginning you decided who would be the enroller when you enrolled them, and you decided who would be the sponsor. Let's assume that you are the enroller. You're the enroller. Oh, okay, so this is you. You have somebody here. Let's say the X's are the people that you personally enrolled. So you enrolled these people. Now they've got some people here. You found someone else and you enrolled them here. And this is how it goes, okay? So if this is what happens. If you, let's say you've got somebody here who is not a qualifier. This is not your qualifier, okay? What happens is the sponsor is whoever they're underneath, right? So this is Sarah. This is Jim. We like Jim and Sarah during this 30-day challenge. Jim is sponsored. Sarah is the sponsor for Jim. But you might be the enroller. Let's say you're the enroller because you're the one who put them there. You're the one who brought them in. Now, an enrollership change, all that means is, let's say Sarah is ready to hit silver and she's got this person to over 3,000, 3K plus, this person's over 3K plus, and Jim is at 2,900 and he just had another order this month. Now he's at 3,200 this month. So before the end of the month happens, you can go into your back office and say, hey, I want to change the enrollership and I want to give it to Sarah. I'm the enroller, but now Sarah will be the enroller. You can totally do that. That helps if you're trying to help your leader hit a rank. But look what happens if, let's say that you, trying to think how we'll do this. This is you, and you're trying to fix a problem on your team, okay? So let's say this person doesn't want to build, and they stopped doing anything, and they just don't want to even be involved. They don't want you to call them. They don't want to have to sign when the downline leaders need signatures. They don't want to do anything. You could have a talk with this person. This person is growing, but not that big, but this person is huge. This person, their team is massive. And you don't have the enrollership. The enrollership belongs to this person. You can go to your leader. Let's say that this is Kate. You can go to Kate and say, hey, Kate, I have a business proposition for you. You go and try to see if she would be okay with transferring her enrollership and giving it to you. Because if you own the enrollership, now this can be your qualifying leg instead of Kate. So that's one fix. And again, we're not going into all the details about this, just kind of showing you some of the options that you have. But again, that can actually hurt relationships. It can hurt Kate's feelings. Fix number 4 is you can cancel an account. Let's say that you've got people here. You've got some leaders going on. You've got some stuff going on here. This is a medium-sized team. This one is small, and this one is big. It doesn't really matter which one is which, but the reality is that if this person, let's say the medium person, they've been a sharer all along. You're the one who built this whole team because you didn't know the structure rules. You didn't realize you shouldn't have been doing that. And you built it all out. You keep plugging holes. There keep being problems because this person doesn't really want to help. Then you could either offer money. You can offer, basically it's a business that they own, you guys. This is a business they own. They will will it to their children. It's theirs. So you can either buy the business from them, you can offer a trade of some sort, do something that helps them be willing to cancel their account. They can cancel the account. They can either send an email to doTERRA and say, I'd like to cancel the account. If they don't order for 6 months, so they don't order for 6 months, then they can send an email and say, can you move me out of that spot? Or if they haven't ordered for 12 months, then they automatically are moved out of that spot. If that spot disappears, if the account is canceled, it's as if that person was never there. All 3 of these will move up to your front line. You don't get to restructure any of this unless you could ask for an exception. But normally what will happen is these 3 will just move up. The entire team moves up exactly the way it is. So now let me show you the last one. The last one is a swap, and people get the most confused about this one. A swap is simply this. If you have people on your team, doesn't even matter how big the teams are. There could be people everywhere. It could be small. It doesn't matter. Let's say that we're talking about these 2 people. let's say this person, you might be doing this because this person is really trying to hit rank. This person doesn't want to build. This is Jennifer, and Jennifer is the mom, and she doesn't want to build. And her daughter is Sarah, of course. So this is the mom. The daughter is Sarah. And guess what? You'd like to switch Sarah to be in the mom's place, but the mom still wants to buy oils and the mom would love to help her daughter. So a swap is simply this. It's when Sarah and her mom move to each other's spots. Now, Sarah, let's say Sarah is silver. If Sarah's silver, she's got 3 people at 3K, and these are her qualifiers. If she's a silver, it's because this is enrolled to Sarah, this is enrolled to Sarah, and this is enrolled to Sarah. Now, if they do a swap, guess what? The only thing that changes is these 2 people. That's it. That means when Sarah moves up here, she now has 1 silver, her mom, and she has 1 other person who's just doesn't really have a team growing. Now, Jennifer moves down to Sarah's spot, so now she owns everything in Sarah's spot, which means the enrollership now belongs to Jennifer, this enrollership belongs to Jennifer, this enrollership belongs to Jennifer. So the swap does not mean that now Sarah gets to keep all of her enrollerships. When you swap and you own that spot and everything that goes with it, you no longer own the other spot. Why would someone do that? They might want to do that if, let's say this is a rock star. Well, they are a star, look. If this person's a rock star, then maybe Sarah really wants to be on the front line of this person because they know that they're going to get a lot of really crazy, awesome support from this person, and it's worth it for her. She knows she can build a silver again, and if she moves up here, she knows she does already have 1 silver. She'll just have to build 2 more. Really, usually the only way people will want to do a swap is if a mom wants to help her daughter or something like that, or if somebody really wants to be on a front line of a big leader, something like that. They know they're going to get the support they want. They want to work more closely with you. That's really the only reason that would happen. So those are some fixes you guys can do. Remember, tomorrow we're going to talk about the exceptions committee, how to work with them so that if you need to do any of those things, then you'll know where the forms are, how to find them, how to fill them out. And hopefully this will help you realize, you guys, doTERRA is amazing. Most companies do not allow this. So the fact that they allow us to even have these options is great. But remember, most of these are exceptions. And it really is just that, an exception. So go get on your stuff today. I'm excited to see your comments. I'm excited to see what's going on with your classes, with your enrollments, or with your failures. Please, please come share those with me. And I'm excited to see you guys next week.